I've been teaching bass for about 16 years now, and in that time I've seen that knowing one simple lesson is often the difference between a bass player who can improvise well and one that can't. This one lesson is something that you simply must know, because once it clicks, doing all of these cool things becomes 10 times easier. So give me a few moments, and in this video I'm going to show you why you won't be able to improvise without learning this lesson, what this one lesson is, and a great exercise that will help you master this lesson in about 10 minutes. So why won't you be able to improvise, play in bands, or write your own music if you don't learn this one thing? Well, when a lot of bass players hear the word improvise, they take that to mean just play whatever you want. So they might be on a gig playing through a groove like this. They go for a fill and they get lucky by playing something like this. However, the next time they try it, they don't get quite so lucky and play something like this. The reason why one of these fills sounded great, yet the other sounded really bad, is because the note choices are completely random. Not being able to consciously make good note choices is the reason why so many bassists can't improvise when they play or apply scales in their own playing. So this brings up a new problem. In those examples before, how did I know which notes to choose? It wasn't just pot luck, there's actually a method to it. Essentially what you have to do is learn which scale fits with which chord. And you can think about doing this as being like one of those children's games where they've got a certain block that's a shape. So they might have a square block or a star block or something like that. And then on a container on this side, they'll have a hole of the same shape for each of those blocks. And it's essentially about matching the block to the shape of the hole. Now in this analogy, the scale will be the block and the chord will be the whole of the same shape. And the way that we would compare the two and figure out which works with which is like this. When we take a scale, like a C major scale, for example, in order to figure out where we can use it and what chords we can play it over, we would look at the first note of the scale, C, the third note of the scale, E, the fifth note of the scale, G. Now this 3-note chord, or triad as it's known, gives us the basic fundamental tonality of the scale. As long as our scale has got those 3 notes in, we know that it's going to be a good fit for major triads. But the cool thing is it doesn't have to stop there. Any scale that's got that basic tonality of a major triad built from the root will work. If I've got a C major chord, I don't have to stick to just using C major. I could use a C major pentatonic. I could use a C Lydian mode. I could use a Lydian dominant. The reason being is that all of those scales share that same 1-3-5 major triad. And once you've understood this concept, you will have understood that one lesson that is so crucial to helping bass players make good note choices, improvise well, and write great bass lines. But this brings up a new problem. So far, we've only learned the concept. How can you actually practice this so you can apply it in your own playing? Well, here's a great exercise to help you do exactly that. Start by choosing a note at random on the bass. I am going to choose this D, which is at the 5th fret of the A string, for example. Next, what you want to do is choose a basic tonality. So that could be major, that could be minor, diminished, augmented. Then once you've picked a tonality like minor, for example, you want to play through every single scale that you can think of that fits that tonality. So if I've chosen the note of D and I've chosen the minor tonality, I can play the D natural minor scale. I could play the D Dorian mode, D Phrygian mode, the D harmonic minor, melodic minor, D minor pentatonic, D blues scale, and so on. Doing this will help you learn the neck much better, but it will also develop an appreciation for the actual tonality of the scales that you're playing through. Practicing this simple exercise is how you can master this concept in about 5 to 10 minutes a day. But this does sound a little bit too good to be true. I mean, honestly, is practicing this for 5 to 10 minutes a day all there is to becoming a really great musical bass player and improviser? No. Ultimately, the best way to learn how to use scales is by studying how great bass players have used them in the past and then copying them. Now, to save you the hassle of finding this out yourself, I've actually studied 3 really famous bass lines and then broken down in detail exactly how the bass players are using scales to make them. I've put everything I've found in this video up here, so click up here to watch that next.